Well, the government, pro-abortion activists and the media were very excited this week. The government has just introduced an even easier way to get abortions. Dial 0800 and get the abortion pills couriered. Remember the slogan, safe, legal and rare? Rare, yeah, it was a big fat lie. There's this big push for medical abortions. So what actually happens in a medical abortion? Well, in today's McBLOG, I'm going to show you.
As Americans, access to abortion is restricted with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. New Zealand's is being strengthened.
You will be able to now get an abortion by phone anywhere from in New Zealand that is funded as long as you're a New Zealand resident.
From today, the medical abortion pill is available to people who are less than 10 weeks pregnant. A new telehealth service connects them to nurses and doctors from the Women's Clinic and Family Planning.
So this medication is mifepristone. This is sort of known as the abortion pill.
The pill will be posted directly to the patient or available at their pharmacy.
We're giving medication to make the body miscarry a pregnancy. Now, the body knows how to miscarry. That 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage naturally. So what we're doing is we're inducing that.
Even though abortions were decriminalised here in 2020, access can be tricky. So the government launched a plan to improve it.
It's going to help people who live in rural areas, for example, but also people who have privacy concerns or don't have a relationship with a medical practitioner that will provide.
Yep, the media were very excited. In fact, the News Talk ZB newsroom, it's one of the largest radio services in New Zealand, well, they just couldn't contain themselves. It was the lead story for most of the latter part of the day. It was just the pesky Melbourne Cup interrupting their flow. Have a listen to this little audio and note the time checks. Let's work through it together.
This is News Talk ZB News.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Raylene Ramsey. A significant step forward for women seeking a termination. The government's rolled out a new service for women in their first 10 weeks of pregnancy, letting them access medication over the phone. It's 4 o'clock. I'm Raylene Ramsey. A new nationwide telehealth service launched today will give rural women better access to abortion. It's 4:30. I'm Raylene Ramsey. Aotearoa is launching a nationwide telehealth abortion service. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Raylene Ramsey. The minister behind moves today to make medical abortion more accessible says the right to privacy is still paramount.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Tony
7 o'clock.
The government has rolled out a nationwide telehealth abortion service, saying people should have control of their own fertility.
Yeah, very, very excited. They were so excited about this wonderful new development. There's this big push, you see, for medical abortions done before 10 weeks. Do them quick and early. Why? Well, because somehow the earlier the abortion, the slightly easier it is to live with your conscience that it's still a human life. If we can do an abortion before it's clearly obvious that it's a small human being, that's going to make us feel a whole lot better. Now, sadly, even the opposition parties agree with all of this. They talk about easier access to healthcare. Well, healthcare for who? So it's 0800, get your abortion, phone consultations and death pills via courier delivery. Abortions done at home, DIY abortions. What could possibly go wrong? Well, lots actually. The latest stats released just last week, in which I analysed in the last episode of McBLOG, shows that more than 161 women suffered complications in just 1 year, including hemorrhaging, retained products, infections, and even failed abortions. And this risk was greater with medical abortions. In fact, you'll see there more than 30 medical abortions. They couldn't even find the patient to follow up. Now, that's contrary to the claim of the abortion doctor that News Hub interviewed.
Ring up and then be sent 2 pills to take, like the Panadol, without any supervision whatsoever, is putting them in grave danger.
But the doctor overseeing the process says that's not the case.
What's important is when they've got that medication, we stay with them. We're available 24 hours a day.
Support
Yeah, well, obviously, Michelle Kaufman is not an abortion doctor. She's fighting for the life of the unborn child. But I repeat, according to the ministry's own data, more than 30 medical abortions, they couldn't even find the patient to follow up. 24/7 monitoring? Dream on. We're not that naive. So is that safe, high quality health outcome, as they say? No, I don't think so either. So, what are we talking about when we say medical abortion? Dial 0800, take the pills, easy as. Well, Dr. Norman McLean, he performed up to 200 abortions very early in his medical career, but he stopped after a year of performing them and he never performed another one. He did do 8,000 births, including 2,000 caesarean sections in his 40-year career. And in this short clip, Dr. McLean explains the process of a first trimester medical abortion. Now, warning, some parts of this presentation may be upsetting to viewers, so viewer discretion is advised.
I'm going to describe now a first trimester medical abortion. These medical abortions are performed usually between 5 and 9 weeks and nearly always less than 10 weeks of gestation. This is a procedure in which the mother swallows pills in order to terminate her baby. The procedure involves 2 steps. The first step, at the abortion clinic or doctor's office, the woman takes pills which contain mifepristone, also called RU486. RU486 blocks the action of a hormone called progesterone. Progesterone is a naturally occurring hormone produced in the mother's body to stabilize the lining of the uterus. When RU486 blocks progesterone, the lining of the mother's uterus breaks down, cutting off blood and nourishment to the baby, who then dies inside the mother's womb. It is important to know that even after it has been taken, it is possible to reverse the effects of RU486 and save the baby if progesterone is administered soon after the drug is taken. Step 2. 1 to 2 days after the RU486, the woman takes another drug, misoprostol, also called Cytotec, and this drug is taken either orally by mouth or vaginally. RU486 and misoprostol working together cause severe cramping, contractions, and often heavy bleeding to force the dead baby out of the woman's uterus. The process can be very intense and painful, and the bleeding and contractions can last from a few hours to several days. While she could lose the baby anytime and anywhere during this process, the woman will often sit on a toilet as she prepares to expel the child, which she will then flush. She may even see her dead baby within the pregnancy sac. At 9 weeks of gestation, for example, the baby will be almost 1 inch in length, and if the mother looks carefully, she might be able to see the arms and legs. After the mother has disposed of her baby, bleeding may well continue to occur. This can last between 1 and 2 weeks and occasionally last more than 30 days. This bleeding can require the mother to be hospitalized if it continues to be heavy and troublesome. This failure rate increases as the pregnancy gestation increases. If failure occurs, she will usually be offered a surgical abortion. For the mother, medical abortion often causes abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, and heavy bleeding. Very rarely, maternal deaths have occurred, most frequently due to infection and undiagnosed ectopic pregnancy.
So what you just saw is what the media will never tell you or show you. In fact, they'll probably label it as misinformation. Imagine a woman doing this on her own, perhaps no supervision. Does she take the medication properly? What if she has a reaction? Who's there with her? And what if there's coercion involved? How does anybody determine that? How do they see that? As I said last time when we covered this issue, the last episode, the whole "it's not a real person" may have worked in the 70s when they argued Roe v. Wade and when they introduced New Zealand's previous abortion law, but it's flat earth science now. We've seen the ultrasounds, we've seen the fetal development. To support abortion, you have to park your conscience and science in a deep, dark vault. It's dial 0800 fiction. Getting an abortion is apparently just like getting pizza. Oh, except for the baby bit. You know, abortion denies the humanity of the unborn child, and when politicians, the Ministry of Health, and the mainstream legacy media can't determine when a life begins or exists, why would you trust them with anything else they may say? I'm not sure we can.